Texas tumble, Charlie Strong strikes gold in Dallas, and we break the Crossfire curse. Up next.
Where the hell's the rest of it?
Where's the rest of it?
Taylor's not even here to defend himself. I'm so excited.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the exclusive sports debate show live from the 40 Acres. It's College Crossfire. I'm your host, Reese Miller. Glad to be here with you, and incredibly excited to have you with us. Let's go ahead and meet our exciting panel of sports knowledge tonight. We got returning champ Joe Morris, also known as Flava Flav. To my right, Joe, 1 for 1, trying to make it 2 for 2. You're the most experienced panelist on this thing. How's that feel?
Pretty great.
Pretty great, right?
Yeah.
You think you can replay? No one's ever repeated, gone 2 for their first 2 shows.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
All right, I like it. Taylor Wiseman, another newcomer tonight. Taylor, glad to have you on with us. You ready to go?
Thank you. Yes. Well, I think so. We'll
You think
see.
so?
We'll see.
Okay, all right. I love the Joe's got you on the confidence measure for sure. Jessica Robinson, another newcomer. Combined 1 show of experience on the panel tonight. Semi-new host. We're destined for greatness. What do you think?
Definitely. It's
Definitely.
going to be a great show.
All right, let's get into it, guys. For the first time in his head coaching tenure, Charlie Strong donned the golden hat after the Longhorns' 24-17 victory up in Dallas. Texas moves to 2-4 on the season, but they now own a victory over a top 10 Oklahoma team to their resume. Charlie Strong has a signature win, and the Longhorns have life. Guys, how were the double-digit underdogs able to shock the world, and really, who were your players of the game that allowed Texas to get this thing done and really get Charlie Strong's first signature victory on the 40? Joe, we'll start with you.
I think the defense and their running attack is what made them get that win. For the offensive MVPs, you got to go with Gerard Hurd. Dude had 115 yards rushing, and he was an efficient 8 for 11 for passing with over 50 yards and a score. He didn't have a whole lot of touchdowns, but he had the drives. He drove the team down and put them in a position to score. For the defensive MVPs, give it to the front line. 6 sacks on Baker Mayfield, and they only held OU to 67 yards rushing. That's pretty impressive.
Okay, so you got the defensive line and Gerard Hurd, both obviously excellent factors playing into why Texas was able to upset Oklahoma. Taylor, your first question, what do you got?
All right. Well, I mean, you picked Hurd, the natural one that you would think to go with, and then Deontay Foreman had a big game, but I'm going to go with quite the shocker and say Tyrone Swoops. That's a weird one for offense, but he ran the ball 4 times, had 14 yards, threw for 2 yards. So he had a rushing TD and TD through the air, which, if you think about that, if we don't have those 2 TDs, we don't win the game. So coming in as second string, putting up or making those 2 big plays for him, that's big. So for me, that's my offensive guy. On defense, I've got to go with Nashawn Hughes. He had 9 tackles total, 4 of which were solo. And then him and Poona Ford made the big sack at the end, lost for 17 yards on that 3rd down. So for him, that's my defensive guy. I don't know how you go with anyone else, actually.
Right, I like those 2 kind of under-the-radar picks, but certainly 2 guys that Texas didn't have. The game could have had a much different story. Jessica, what do you think? Who are your offensive and defensive MVPs for Texas?
You know what? I think the Deshaun Elliott actually with the forced fumble on the kickoff return, pushing us up 7-0, that was a big play. Definitely important to get the ball rolling, get Texas ahead up early. And then Lorenzo Joe with the fumble recovery, putting us up 14-0. I think those 2 players just at the front of the game getting us up there. And then after that, OU had nothing on us, let's be honest. Definitely for defense, Malik Jefferson. No one can stop him. He can stop everyone, actually. He's amazing, and I'm just going to go with Malik for sure.
Okay, so you have Malik, Lorenzo Joe, and Deshaun Elliott.
Yes.
Okay, I say really under-the-radar picks. I like that. Taylor, I think you're actually going to start us off with a point here. I really think Tyrone Swoops kind of didn't get talked about a whole lot, was a forgotten guy, and yet scored 2 touchdowns, was pretty unstoppable in the red zone. And, of course, Nashawn Hughes, another guy that no one seems to talk a lot about, but yet led the Longhorns in tackles and seems to be an up-and-coming rising star on this defense. Guys, Texas has settled its quarterback battle after week 2, but it appears the Longhorns may have a new position open, running back. For the season, Jonathan Gray has 280 yards on 75 carries, good for a 3.8 yards per carry average with 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Deonta Foreman, the sophomore two-star, has 328 yards on 53 carries, good enough for 6.2 yards per carry average. He does have 2 touchdowns, guys. Even though Jonathan Gray is one of the clear leaders of this team and the current starter, are you starting to see there may be time for a change or maybe a time for some shifting carries? Jonathan Gray, 22 carries, 76 yards this past weekend. Meanwhile, Deonta Foreman, the 81-yard run, only 9 carries, though, well over 100 yards for the second straight game. Is there time for a change here, Taylor?
I think there is. That's tough to say because Jay Gray is a senior and you want him to have a great senior year. But I think for Texas, they really need Deonta Foreman to step up. He's the future of this program, and we need to Texas needs to look forward as a program and go from there. So I think it's time to put Jay Gray in a different role. He still needs a role in the team, obviously, but put him in a smaller one, and Deonta Foreman, it's his time to shine.
Okay, so Deonta Foreman's time to shine, says Taylor. Jessica, what do you think? Is it time for Deonta to step up, or is Jonathan Gray, with that senior leadership and experience, does he still need to take the majority of the carries in the starting role here?
You know, there's definitely something that you need to learn from this. Gray has been there for a while. He has experience. I definitely think Foreman can learn from him. So the time needs to be split. You know, if you earn it, you need to go for it. But I definitely think Gray has plenty to teach Deonta. He can learn a lot from him. And I think he just needs to definitely watch him take the leadership role and play whenever he earns it. That's what I think. He needs to learn from those older than him.
Okay, so you still think Deonta Foreman maybe wait in the background a little bit while
Yes.
Jonathan Gray continues to lead?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, obviously showing the picture of Jonathan Gray walking side by side with Charlie Strong really shows his role on this team, at least to this point. What do you think, my man Joe? Flava Flav, I guess I should call you after you're undefeated. So what do you think? Is this Deonta Foreman's future, or is it Jonathan Gray right now?
I think you should go with Gray for now, but you should give Deonta Foreman a bigger role. But you shouldn't get rid of Jonathan Gray right now, because when you look at Texas' offense, there's not a whole lot of experience. Gerard Hurd's first-year starter. Deonta Foreman's in his second year. The offensive line is a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, and Joe Burt's also a freshman. So you need some senior leadership up there to keep everyone cool, roll with experience and stuff. So, but I think I like what I see from Deonta Foreman. He's doing really good.
Okay, Joe, I really kind of agree with you in several points there. I think at this point in the season, Jonathan Gray is the senior leader and still deserves a starting role for what he's done to this point. But I do think Deonta Foreman, 9 carries at this level just isn't quite enough against an OU team when you're averaging almost 7 yards a carry at this point. So Joe's taking the point. Each of you guys have one. Fear not, Jessica. I'm sure yours is coming, guys. Texas notched its first win in the Big 12 Conference on Saturday. But as you look at the rest of the conference, TCU and Baylor are in the top 5, while OU and Oklahoma State remain in the top 20. Guys, how do you see this conference shaking out? Who's your favorite, and can anyone represent this conference in the college football playoff? You've still got 3 undefeated teams in Oklahoma State, TCU, and Baylor, 2 in the top 5. Baylor ranked number 2 this past week. Jessica, who is your favorite to win this conference, and can they make some noise in terms of college football as a whole?
I'm definitely going to go with Baylor. I do think Baylor and TCU are both great teams. They both have great defenses, but Baylor's offense is definitely more explosive. It's going to prove that way, in the long run. I'm going to go with Baylor. Definitely Baylor.
Okay, definitely Baylor.
Definitely Baylor.
Okay, Baylor, the last couple of years have finished with 1 loss, losing both of their bowl games, but obviously undefeated, impressive numbers to this point with new quarterback Seth Russell. Joe, what do you think?
I do like Baylor too. TCU's also good. I like them as a second option, but they're really shaky at home. They play great at home, but they're really shaky on the road, like you saw against Kansas State. I think that's eventually going to catch up to them. They play Oklahoma and Oklahoma State on the road. That's just going to be 2 tough games to win on the road. But I think the Big 12 is eventually going to come down to when Baylor and TCU play each other on the 27th. But I think Baylor pulls it out.
Okay, I do think that is where that conference comes down to. Last season, of course, 61-58. Baylor at home. Where they're better this year, it's in Fort Worth. Taylor Wiseman, what do you think?
All right, well, I'm going to go opposite of you two. I'm going with TCU for the Big 12. I think that last year they should have gone farther. I think they should have made the playoffs, and I think that the only reason they didn't is their 5-minute lapse against the Baylor defense that led to the 61-58 loss. I think this year they showed and proved that they could win on the road at K-State, come back from being down, and make that big win. Well, big in a way, but I think that last year in their bowl game against Ole Miss, they came out and proved that they maybe should have been in the playoffs. So I think that if you look at that and you look at how they've played so far this year, I think they're going to continue on that streak and they'll make it far and hopefully represent the Big 12 in the playoffs.
The only problem with TCU to this point, only one defensive starter, at least of 2 weeks ago, left from that Peach Bowl victory of last season. That's a defense that's been beat up. But I agree with you. I think TCU is coming back. They're ready for vengeance. They're ready to avenge that loss. On the road, you've already seen their graffiti posts on each other's campuses throughout the week. Hey, don't forget about OSU either, guys. But I agree. Taylor's getting the point here. I think TCU is ready, mainly because they get Waco at home in Fort Worth. So they get Baylor, not in Waco, guys. 1 round down, 2 rounds to go. Next we take on the NFL in the riveting Major League Baseball playoffs. Do not go anywhere.
Go Cubbies! Yeah!
Welcome back to College Crossfire. We are live heading into round 2 from the 40 acres. Let's check out our leaderboard. We've got one combined show between our 3 outstanding new panelists tonight, but they're doing just a wonderful job, as you guys have can certainly verify from home. Joe right now has 1 point. Taylor has 2 points. Jessica still got the goose egg, the donut, but don't worry, we still got 2 rounds to go, so certainly not out of it yet. Great job so far, guys. We're going to go into baseball to start off here. The divisional series has just about wrapped up in postseason baseball. From the American League and National League divisional series, the Blue Jays and the Cubs have punched their tickets to the NL and ALCS, while the Astros and Royals battle that out at the Coffin right now. The Mets and Dodgers will settle their tickets tomorrow night at 7. Guys, from what you've seen so far, who has gained the most momentum from this divisional series, and who has really set themselves up for a prime the World Series run? You got several options to choose here. You can still talk about the teams playing tonight or even tomorrow, who everything may win that series. But Joe, we'll start with you.
I think the Dodgers are in a good spot to win it.
Wow.
Yeah, going into last night, I'm surprised the Dodgers didn't choke because Clayton Kershaw's entered the game with a 1-6 postseason record, but he was stellar last night. He got the win and on short rest. But the rest of their lineup needs to step it up. They have Puig's been non-existent all season. Carl Crawford's hitting .091. Rollins is 1 hit all series, and Chase Utley's injured as many players as he has hits. So they got to step that up. But their pitching's been phenomenal, and I think they'll win tomorrow against the Mets.
Okay, so I love the Chase Utley line. So you think they have the proper momentum, but you also think they need to step it up.
Yeah.
So you're obviously taking Zach Greinke tomorrow over DeGrom, and you think they can knock out the Cubbies in the NLCS?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Cubs are overrated. They're not going to win.
Oh my goodness.
I'll leave it at that. That says it all. Taylor, we'll go with you. What do you have to say about this momentum swing, and who's ready to go to the NL or ALCS?
All right, well, I'm going to take the Cubs because they came out and beat the Pirates 4-0 to start off their wild card game. And then they've gone on to score 20 runs in 3 games to win the divisional series. So if they continue to play how they have and Kyle Schwarber continues to hit balls out of the park or to the video board, I think that they've got a lot of fire in them considering they have not won a World Series in 107 years. So I think that is a little extra push for them to make it and go and finish out the whole.
How about this? Their first ever series that they clinched at home was yesterday, which is pretty amazing to think about. They've won 12 out of the last 13. Certainly the Cubs have it rolling. Jessica, what do you think?
Definitely the Cubs. It's been over 100 years. It is their time. It is their time. With their first postseason win in Wrigley Field ever, it's their time. Against the Cardinals, they had a solid bullpen that was incredibly effective, especially in the top of the 4th with no one out. The momentum changed everything about the game with Justin Grimm striking out 3 hitters. And I think that momentum shift, just that momentum shift can carry on into the rest of the postseason. And it is the Cubs' time. This would have been the 108th year. It is their time.
Would have. Okay, so we got 2 on the Cubs saying it's their time. I like the Justin Grimm shout-out. Former Ranger, by the way, so I guess I've still got some postseason hopes alive. Joe, I think the ladies got you on this one. I think the Cubs have it rolling right now. Quite frankly, the Dodgers, I've seen too much lately. Kershaw did seem to get the giant monkey off his back last night, but we'll see if they can outduel Jacob deGrom tomorrow. So you guys are getting the point for this one, guys. Heading into the NFL now, after demolishing the injury-ridden Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Yuck, what a game. The New England Patriots are off to yet another impressive undefeated start. The Pats are now 4-0 and look primed to make yet another Super Bowl run in light of all the Deflategate talk all off season. Guys, are the Patriots ready to repeat, or do you see someone stepping up, even able to get close to stopping them? Because right now they look like they're out to prove to people and send a message to teams late in that game against the Cowboys, calling timeouts, had their starters in, they're ready to run up the score, and really it seems to demolish people. So can anybody stop these guys right now? Taylor, what do you think?
Okay, well, Patriots are putting up big numbers on offense, but they've got the Jets and the Broncos coming up, and I think that those two teams will be able to stop them. The Patriots just lost their starting left tackle, Nate Solder, and so we'll see how that goes into this next game. But I think that Deflategate and everything is going to catch up with them. They don't have any big injuries on offense other than Nate Solder, and I think if any one of those guys goes out like Gronk or Edelman, season might take a turn for the worse. So I think Jets or Broncos are the ones who could come in, stop the undefeated streak, and go from there.
Sure, Jets playing very well on defense so far. Broncos, of course, undefeated. And speaking of that offensive line, depleted even more after the Cowboys got 5 first-half sacks, setting a record against Tom Brady. So certainly a possibility. Jessica, what do you think? Is someone going to stop this run the Patriots are on?
I think it's definitely possible. Why not? However, I do think that the Colts this Sunday, I think that will be a big game. You never know. But the rivalry, it's real. You never know what's going to happen, but if I could pick any team, I would say the Colts. Why not? However, I do think that they're going to go all the way, and I believe in them. I believe they can do it.
I'll tell you one thing. You have belief like no panelist I've ever seen. It's your time. You've got, I believe, so I certainly appreciate the enthusiasm. But the Colts, 3-2?
You never know.
That is true. That is true. You got
never
that
know.
one. Jill, what do you think?
I think the Patriots will go 16-0 just because they have such an easy schedule. Like, their toughest opponents are
16-0.
Yeah, because they only play like the Jets twice and then the Bills again and the Broncos. But I mean, those are the only 4 teams that might beat them. But in the playoffs, I think if they get past the Broncos and into the championship or the Super Bowl, I say the Packers or the Cardinals have a really good shot at beating them.
Wow.
Yeah,
excellent.
Solid defense.
Sure, defense certainly trying to stop what is right now the number 1 offense. You know who the most overrated player in the NFL is right now? The Patriots punter, because they don't use him at all. Joe, you're going to get the point here on this one. I think the Patriots are absolutely rolling right now, and they have to send a message to people. So you're taking the point to this one. To college football we go. While Texas has a bye this week, there are plenty of outstanding top matchups in college football this weekend. 3 teams in the top 12 will actually play each other with playoff implications on the line. Michigan faces Michigan State. LSU faces a Will Greer-less Florida team now, and Alabama takes on Texas A&M in College Station. Guys, I need your picks for each of these games. And what matchup do you think is the most intriguing, or perhaps has the most influence on the college football playoff spectrum? But first off, I need picks for each of these 3 top 12 matchups. And Jessica, we'll start with you.
Okay, so for Michigan State, Michigan, definitely think Michigan. You know, their coach is fabulous, and he's back ready to make a statement, So definitely going to go with Michigan on that, and I think they're going to beat them by a lot. They've won their past 3 games, like whatever it is, 0. They're slaying, so I do think they are going to win. Florida, LSU, I think LSU is going to win. Florida's playing them at Death Valley, so that is a big home field advantage. And then Bama, A&M, Bama did destroy them last year, but I do think it is A&M's time. It's their time. I'm all about the belief.
You're all in the belief in the time.
I think A&M can do it. I really do.
So what do you think? You think A&M can make a run, or do you think they can beat Bama this weekend?
I think they can beat Bama this weekend. No. I think they can beat Bama this weekend, though.
Okay, so it's their time this weekend.
It's their time this weekend, but not long.
Okay, I just need to get my mindset in
definitely.
The right time frame here. Joe, what do you think? I need picks for the weekend, and which game is most intriguing to you?
Do you think anyone's ever going to score on Michigan again?
Most likely, yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not.
That
You're
defense looks way too loaded. I think they beat up Michigan State because that game's probably going to decide the Big Ten with Ohio State looking real shaky. I got Bama against A&M, and I got because their defense is still solid. Like even though they got quarterback issues, like they're still going with their defense. And give me LSU with Will Greer going down with suspension. But I think the most interesting matchup to me is Bama A&M because I love watching A&M lose.
What is it about A&M that you love watching so much?
I love watching them lose.
Okay. I love. We got belief. We got hatred. We got it all tonight on College Crossfire. Taylor, keep it rolling here. Give me some picks.
Okay, well, I've got A&M over Bama. A&M's putting up big numbers on offense. The lowest amount of points they've scored this season is 28. Alabama's been a little shaky in games, and I think that they're 2 weeks out from being the underdog against Georgia, so they don't have that on their back anymore. I think that they maybe have lost some of their focus, maybe, things like that. So I think A&M comes out, puts one on them, takes it to them, and beats them. As far as Michigan State, I take Michigan in this. Michigan is looking for their 4th straight shutout.
Right.
That's not heard of in college football. That's a big one. And so they're not shutting out nobody teams. They shut out Northwestern, who was ranked 13 at the time. So I think that if Michigan wins this weekend and looks to shut out, I think that Michigan makes the statement and says, we've arrived, and lets everybody know that Michigan's back and they're ready to go into the playoffs, things like that. As far as LSU Florida, I take LSU. They've got Leonard Fournette. He's somewhat unstoppable. Sure. And Florida just lost Will Greer, so my pick is LSU there.
So you're all on LSU. You're all on Michigan. 2 of you are on A&M. Guys, remember we're on the 40-acre series. As much as non-biased journalists we want to be, Joe's getting the point here because he brought the passion, he brought the fire, and he brought the hate. And that's what we like. We've got belief and we got hate. Guys, 2 rounds down. Rapid fire remains. Anything can happen. We come back on College Crossfire. Welcome back to everyone's favorite round. It is rapid fire. Time to check our scoreboard for a little update. We got Joe with 3 points. The defending champ looking to win 2 in a row. Never been done. Trying to break a streak on College Crossfire. Taylor Wiseman right on his tail with 2 points so far. Jessica's got the lone point, but don't worry. This is rapid fire. Anything can happen, guys. Just so everyone knows how this works. Points are now doubled. Anyone can jump in anytime. I'll shout out the question. You guys jump in, and we'll award some points to you guys and settle a winner, guys. First off, we're going to play what we call the ratings game. Now, the Texas OU game did exceedingly well on Saturday, surpassing many expectations. I will give you a range in between 1 and 20 for ratings, and the closest person gets 2 points. The ratings are basically the number of households divided by the people watching that with a TV, just so you guys know how that works. So the total ratings for the Texas OU game. It's in between 1 and 20. I'll tell you that. I'll give you guys some help at first. It's time to put on our business ratings caps. Okay, closest to the number gets the points.
Let's see. I'm going to go 19.
19. Okay, 19. Extremely, extremely high, but I like certainly that Texas did very well. So you got 19.
I'm going to go 15.
Okay, 15.
14.
14. Okay. Now he's got the Price is Right category. You wait for them to wait it out. You pick the lowest one. It worked. You got the 2 points. Guys, Texas was a 9.9 rating during that game, which is exceedingly high. It was tops in college football. It peaked at the very end of the game at 12.8. But considering the low ratings, low attendance Texas had, certainly significant. So Price is Right strategy. Paying off. Joe gets the 2 points, guys. Time for the second one. Time for some emotional stories. I really want to get into the tears here. Today, as the Rangers collapse, I may have cried a little or a lot. Barely made it to the show. What is your sports moment as a fan, and what was your reaction to what happened? How upset were you guys? And I need a moment. I need some passion here. Because I've seen some rough ones. I've seen a bobbled snap. I don't want to talk about it. I've seen Game 6. And I saw today, fresh in my mind. What have you guys seen?
I'm going to go Des Bryant's non-catch that was a catch for Dallas last year.
That's killer. That's killer.
That one was difficult and replayed it over and over and just kind of You just twisting the knife as it's already there. I don't want to see that over and over.
All right, and maybe
It's a
jabbing a
catch.
second or a third one in there as
Yes,
well.
but
Yeah.
it's a catch.
So what did you do after that game or after the moment? Did you shed some tears? You throw stuff? I really need some animation.
Probably just turned off the TV and called them the Cowgirls, because why not? That's
Okay,
what you
well,
do.
hey, why
That's
not
what
call
you
people
do.
names and turn the TV off? It's always the best answer. What do you guys have?
The 06 finals, man, that was fixed. You know, Dwayne Wade had 40 free throws in one game. That's not real.
Okay, so you're referring to Mavericks, Miami Heat.
Yep.
Okay, so you were a little bit younger here, so sports, I'm sure, were a big part of it. What was the emotion? What did you do after that happened?
A month-long depression.
Okay, month-long. Like, what are we talking here? Like, you got your door shut. You got.
Like Charlie Brown, you know, it's like the piano music, and you just got his head slouched, walking around everywhere. That for a month.
Okay, for a solid month. That's emotional stuff. Jessica, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the Texas Cal game.
Okay,
Losing by
fresh
one.
on your mind.
I was so upset that I didn't know what to do, so I went back to where I lived and I rollerbladed down the hallway. that is what I did. I didn't know what to do, so that is what I did.
That's the thing to do.
Okay,
Rollerblading.
I honestly
That's what
think
you
that's
do.
the thing to do. Jessica's getting the 2 points here. Rollerblade. Whenever you're done, guys, this next question is going to be worth 3 points. Okay, so never mind. That's all the time we have. That question is going to win it. Jessica, you take home the victory. So congratulations. Rapid Fire cut a little short today. We'll go ahead and save a question for next week about maybe some Charlie Strong, maybe some Red River rivalry stuff, guys. So Jessica, congrats on your first win.
Thank you.
No time for FaceTime tonight, but you'll be back as always next week, and we will see maybe if you can repeat and have some more FaceTime then, guys. That's going to do it for Week 7 in a fall-off semester in 2015. Watch us every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. and keep up with us on social media at College X-Fire. Catch up on the latest Longhorn sports news Monday nights at 9:30 on College Press Box. Check them out on the Twitter at College Press Box. Very creative, we know. Newcomer Jessica Robinson is your champion tonight. Big thanks to newcomer Taylor Wiseman, repeat champion Jill Morris. Thanks to everybody, Studio Master Control, making this craziness go down on Wednesday night. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for spending your night with us. Until next week, from the 40 Acres, I'm your host, Reese Miller. Have an outstanding night.